Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy No E here with Bells, and we are the hosts of Let's Grab a Drink podcast.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be introducing you to our guest tonight. We have Winston Williams, creator of Soul Comics, right?
The Soul, that's what it is.
I am excited mostly because, most importantly, he's also our high school alumni. And beginning with this project, that was at the heart of this, is the fact that just knowing so many alumni in our high school, you know, it's just thrilling. So moving from there is just, there's only going up from here.
Only going up.
So if you don't mind introducing yourself with Winston, when did you start, little details?
Cool. My name's Winston Williams, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Graduated from Reagan High School, along with Maribel. I've been drawing since I was about 5 years old. I've always liked comic books. I've always wanted to create my own comic book or do something professional involving my art. I just recently started, I believe, our first issue. Let me give y'all a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Issue 1 came out in like 2015. This one came out in 2016, and this one came out in 2017.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they took so long because, you know, it's pretty hard trying to do most of the stuff on your own. I did have a small team of people that helped me work on these. But yeah, I just, you know, did a lot of legwork around the city, trying to get them in stores, built the website from scratch, you know.
When you say you got a small team,
Mhm.
what's the number of like the team?
Let's
You got
see.
like 5, 10?
Around 5, something like that. You had
Okay.
me. I was basically the editor, the author, and creator of
Okay.
the series. I did the inking on the book. I also did all the lettering.
What's
And
inking? For someone who's not familiar, I'm not familiar.
Okay.
I'm not even familiar with comic books.
Cool.
When I watch Marvel,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm having to catch up on the history of each, you know, character, which is interesting and all. But you know, coming from someone who's not
Right.
knowledgeable, what is the definition of inking, or what's the process of that?
Okay, I'll take y'all through the whole process. You normally start off with a writer. The writer will first off write the entire story, kind of like how someone would write a movie script.
Okay.
And after that, that script is then taken to being like a page layout. It's almost like how if you were doing storyboards.
Like a draft.
Right. So the penciler would take the written work and then put it in a layout to where it looks good on the page. You
Okay.
know, all of the action, all the characters, all the backgrounds and stuff with no text. So the penciler would just basically lay out like a rough draft of what's going to be on the page.
Majority, I guess, spacing of the boxes when it
Right.
comes to comic books,
Absolutely,
right?
the panels.
Okay, like are we gonna have 3 by 2 by 4?
Absolutely.
Right? Because
Mhm.
that's the only thing I can picture when it comes to comics.
Absolutely.
Because they're in squares.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, panels. Mhm. Absolutely.
So when you say not penciled in, it's no drawing, no text,
Mhm.
just the layout.
No, it's actually the artwork. The artwork will be there, but it's just like rough
Okay.
layout of what's going on. So it's just roughly done, and then what I would do is just make any small changes, just clean up the line work basically.
Okay.
Clean up the line work, maybe change a face,
Yeah.
maybe change a position that I feel maybe needed was what was needed for the page, and then we got clean line work, all the blacks and stuff, all the areas would be filled in with just just black and white. And then from there, it would then be toned. You know, so the same guy that did the penciling, he also did the toning for it. I just did the inking and just making like little changes here and there.
What's the tone? Like filling
Toning,
in?
shades.
Shade, okay.
Shading,
The
basically.
depth of it.
Right, making
Oh,
it,
nice.
giving it that 3D look.
I said that. Sorry.
But yeah, giving it that 3D look. Once the inks, pencils, and tones are done, then what we do is we go towards doing the lettering. So that's the word bubbles. Everything that was taken from the written work would then be put on there, and I also did automatopoeia. So if it was like something that I felt needed its own sound effect or some sort of effect or speed lines or something like that, I would put that in also.
Okay.
Once that's done, all the digital work was then looked over again, proofread, and then go to print. Went to print, go to a printing company, got the books made. Then I just would go out and try to, outsource to different comic book shops around the city and see if they put it in there on consignment. And,
What was
I
the
did.
most difficult part of the whole process? Because I was telling him on the way here, we went to high school. We had a few high school classes together, and I just always recall there was 2 things that would made You know, when you say Winston, two things will pop out.
Mm.
Two, you were very into fitness.
Mm.
Yeah, I felt like for a high
I
school
saw him
kid.
flex right now.
Hey, you ain't flirting with me, man. No, you were had broad shoulders, very muscular. For a high school kid, I guess most other guys, even when they were in the football team or whatever, you just had that physique.
Right.
And then the other part was you always had a sketchbook on you.
Mm.
And I remember, I believe it was algebra class. You were sat behind me, and I remember every time I would kind of like either glance back or look back, you were sketching. I mean, it was a kind of, the teacher was always on the overhead.
It's weird you say that because high school for me, I only have a few like spurts of like memories from high school. High school kind of just went by like a blur. Yeah, it's like when I watch movies and stuff on like the high school experience or like the little teen romp films and stuff like that. Like those are such memorable years, and so I don't really remember a whole lot about high school.
Really?
It was one thing that was really crazy that happened. It was a memory that somebody had told me about her because I liked her. I tried to go out with her and everything, and she rejected me, and I had like.
Was she in the band too?
Yeah, she was in the band.
I know who she is. I know who she is.
Yep.
We're not. Yeah, we'll bleep that.
Keep her name out.
We're Facebook friends.
But y'all keep this part in.
Cool.
It was she had rejected me, and that was like a very traumatic experience that I had completely blocked out. Somebody had to remind me, like, yeah, remember she had broke up with you, and you had like asked us, like you sat there at the front, you was crying about it, and you were like, I had asked him, like, am I ugly? Is something wrong with me? Or whatever. I was like, because that was one of the first experiences where I had where I had liked somebody, I thought they were attractive, and then they had actually, they had reciprocated and said, yeah, let's go out. And I thought it was like a real big deal. I made a sketch about it, wrote a little note to her and everything, yeah.
But that's one of those things where when you have a memory like that, like even though in the moment it's like the worst feeling in the world, but like you just said, it's a memory, and like now I'm going through the experience with my stepson. He's in high school and he has his first girl and everything, and it sounds pessimistic, but like I'm waiting for him to get his heart broken because it's like you learn from those experiences, right?
Right.
But then you can't help it, and that's actually a growing experience.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Even though it was traumatic.
It's not always the up and everything's gonna be beautiful. It's hey, life is hard. You're gonna get your heart broken and you're gonna sit there crying and
A related conversation that I can bring up I watch a lot of YouTube at work. It's always in the background, and I can be watching anything from like science documentaries to whatever, you name it.
Right.
Lately, this week has been A Preacher's Daughter. Preacher's Daughter is like a Lifetime show.
Okay.
And you heard it? Yeah. So it's like a documentary on preachers' kids. Their daughters are preachers, like it can be a Baptist or whatever religion. And they're like almost, it reminds me
of... Are they rebellious?
Some of them are. Like rebellious in the sense that their fathers are so controlling and like you're a preacher's daughter, you have to keep up with this image that the first thing they want to do is like, I got a date. They want to do the most they can out of that date. But then you have those that their parents have instilled so much fear into them that even the thought of dating is like, I don't want to date. It's going to be a heartbreak. It's going to be, if I'm not going to be able to have sex till I get married, why would I put myself through the
trials and tribulations?
Not only that, but temptation.
Wow.
Especially as a young 16-year-old girl, the hormones, especially with the boys and stuff, their mindset, it's almost like traumatizing. And in my head, I kind of get angry. I'm like, I understand they're trying to do good for them, but that's not, like, you want to think back on your first love or experience as a good thing, a learning experience. Yes, you're going to get heartbreak, but you can't keep your kids from living life
in the bubble. Yeah,
exactly.
At the end of the day, it's when it happens, it's gonna probably go over the top.
Yes,
and so you've heard those situations whenever, like even for example with like drug use, like somebody that stays away from even weed or something as small as alcohol, and then the first time they get drunk, they get high, they might turn around and do cocaine or meth or something. And then
you just never know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm not a parent yet, or maybe I'm never going to be, I don't know. But as you two guys, whether it's a step parent or a parent, you have fears. And I feel like the hardest thing about being a parent is there's no right ways to do things.
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest fear of mine. I can say I have nieces and nephews, and yes, I don't want them to see this, I don't want them to see that, or the way I talk to them about certain subjects. But when it's yours, I can feel the passion behind it. And one little, I don't know, that's the scary part. So I give you props.
But in retrospect, talking about the preacher's daughter thing, her thing back then was, I can't date you because my dad doesn't want me dating. You know what I mean? And that was the consensus for years. And then I met her again. She actually became a client of mine when I was doing personal training. I had just got out of the Navy. She became a client of mine, and then she told me that the truth was she didn't want to date me because the letter and everything was too clingy. And I was like, you
The what now?
the letter, the little sketch I drew on her and everything. She's like, oh, that was too clingy for me. I was like, you fucking bitch. I was so mad about that. I was like, wow. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's stuff that I still.
What were you mad about?
I was more mad that she didn't. I was mad that it was like, wow, you thought I was being clingy. I was like really happy. It wasn't me being clingy. I was
being honest.
Yeah, I was being honest. I was being open, and I was like really happy for once that I liked somebody and they liked me back. It was like something. I was kind of like people, and then we had like little crushes here and there. But it was like I was like,
you never had the approach.
Maybe it's the optimism, but I think it's probably good that you didn't find out the truth back then. Because if you would have found out that being truthful in that situation affected that much negative, you maybe would have carried that throughout your life
and just have held my heart like
oh man, I'm not gonna speak my truth because it drives people away.
Right. Interesting. That's interesting.
I did like, that's why I was kind of like, why were you upset? I would have been like, maybe it was closure.
I would still be upset, but I think it's good that.
I would be upset because I've made many mistakes in my past, and after they were brought up to light, it was more like, yeah, you're right. I was such a bitch. Sort of that, or like you get to apologize or something, but out of growth.
Going back to the comic, like I think we jumped into maybe the middle of the process of the comic because penciling is nowhere near the beginning.
Right.
So what happens at the very beginning of putting together a comic?
Well, when I created the comic, the whole thing behind the comic book and everything was to try to make an animated series. We're working on an animated series right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the whole point of doing it. I just kind of wanted to be able to raise enough money to get a cartoon show made.
So you wanted to get legitimized first.
Right.
Have a foundation and then jump from there.
Is that the normal way how something?
Not necessarily. Some people may want to try to do comics. Some people may just want to try to make a live action show, or it's just an idea in the beginning. You know what I mean? But I knew for sure that I wanted to do the ends to the means was going to be a cartoon show. That was like the big goal. I figured I like comic books. This was back in like the early 2000s when I came up with the idea for it. Kids were still kind of sort of buying it. It was kind of dying down. Now it's like really died down. People don't really invest in comic books like they used to. But yeah, that was the whole thing, was to make a cartoon show. The reason for making the cartoon show was I went to my first anime convention, and
what year was this around?
This was in 2004.
Okay.
And I noticed that there were a lot of black kids, minorities that were dressing up like anime characters, but the anime characters did not have those ethnicities. So like is one good example, a guy I know, he would always dress up as Terry from was it Fatal Fury or Final Fight? One of those fighting games. I forget the name. Leave it in the comments if I got it wrong, guys. But
they're gonna let you know.
Oh yeah.
that's what things are scared of.
Terry, blonde hair, blue-eyed white boy, got his little red hat, his little red jacket, blue jeans and stuff like that. But the way he dressed, he was always gonna be Black Terry. People are always saying, "Oh man, it's Black Terry." He looked just like Terry because he had good physique and everything. And it's just like, it's nothing wrong with, if you have a different ethnicity, if you want to cosplay as another person, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that you're always going to be Black Terry. Like, think of it, for example, like if I drew Sonic the Hedgehog, if I drew him red, he's going to be red Sonic the Hedgehog.
Or the Microfield with Knuckles.
Right, exactly. If I drew him red, it's nothing that, it just kind of sort of takes part of the essence of the character away, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's red Sonic the Hedgehog, it's not Sonic the Hedgehog, because he's blue, he's known as the Blue Blur.
I guess let me ask you that, and this is, I guess, a little controversial on some, but it sounds like you'll have an honest opinion. How do you feel about like a little white kid dressing up as Black Panther?
It's as long as there's no blackface, as long as there's no ridiculing of him being African, maybe ridiculing of any African culture or anything like that. just like you can tell when somebody's paying homage to the character
Right.
versus ridiculing the character or ridiculing the essence of what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, like that's the whole thing. I don't mind. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome that you would you know, if you would just like the character of Black Panther, the character of T'Challa himself versus
You're just making fun of
exactly
the industry or
Right.
fun of that.
Which I don't think most of the cases. I don't think most of the cases are even that. I think most of the kids, or even maybe if there's an adult that does it, it's an awesome superhero.
Right.
I mean, to think, you know, fantasize that you're part of and everything and enjoy. I agree with you 100% on that, because as long as there's no, like you said, ridicule.
Yeah, my thing is not like, oh, it's wrong, and you know, you shouldn't cosplay as a character because you're Black. Or
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, nothing. It has nothing to do with that. It's just it feels a bit off, you know, and
It goes back to what you said earlier,
right?
Like the essence, or it takes away from the character.
Yeah, just a little bit of the essence away from the character. It doesn't feel like that character. I remember one time a girl had dressed up as Vash the Stampede from Trigun. She looked just like him, but because she was a girl, it didn't really take anything away from it because she looked just like him. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to be transparent. Both of us, it just like went over our heads.
I've never seen Trigun.
No.
Oh man, Trigun is like one of those. That's when anime had was really blowing up, and like late 90s, early 2000s anime. You know, maybe 95 through 2002, 2003 was when anime really started to really catch on, because it was just so different. It was so much more mature. The subject matter in a lot of those older shows were really awesome. Now it's just geared for everybody. They have so many different types of genres, so many different types of shows and stuff. It's so more mainstream now. But before it was kind of niche. You know, it was different, you know, it was edgy.
I sound horrible saying this, and I'm gonna come off wrong, and there's just no way around this, okay?
So you can talk shit about anime.
Not shit, but you knew where I was going with this. I agree with the fact that it wasn't big.
Right.
Because before maybe 5 years ago, I want to say, the only thing that comes up in my head when I think of anime...
Dragon Ball.
No, not even. It's like porn.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna be very.
I thought you were gonna say Sailor Moon.
No, dude, not even that. Every time I see the word anime, I think of porn.
Hentai?
Hentai.
But
when you go to, I'm not saying I go to the website, but when you go to the website, it's anime/hentai.
Hold on, give us an example.
I just feel like I like the art, okay?
No, I wasn't knocking
And when I say I love the art, I mean that in every sense. I love the art of porn. I love the art of the art, you know,
Right.
And I feel like there's a niche for it.
I think those sound recordings have to be awkward as fuck.
Oh, like in the booth?
Yeah.
the molding and stuff? That's gotta be weird.
It's because it's pretty cool, man. And then the art itself, I'm not even talking shit about it.
It's legit.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, it is.
And then when you see the cartoons, you get why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even yours.
Yeah, that was their whole thing in Japan.
They're sexualized. It's sexualized cartoons.
You know what though? It's common though, even all around the world. Because I remember as a kid, when I would go to Mexico.
So I'm not wrong, right?
No,
I'm not a pervert.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. And
I remember going to the library.
I am a pervert. I am a creep, but whatever.
I remember
You know what I'm
going
talking
to fucking Mexico and we walked down the fucking streets and shit, and over there they have little newsstands, right?
The little novelas.
Yeah. And so sometimes they would have it
Mom, I'm sorry, Mom.
They would have they would have all kinds their magazines of the month posted up against, and it's a glass. And I remember kind of peeking up, and my mom pulling me, and I'm like, I haven't finished reading it. Fucking anime with big old.
You ain't even reading it.
But yeah, so I went to the convention, and I was like, okay, this is interesting.
I don't mean to slander the industry.
No. I was like, what do I want to see? What have I not seen? And then that was the first little stages of me trying to maybe flesh out what kind of characters I wanted to see, what kind of themes I wanted to see. For some reason, back then, it was in 04, 05, I felt I was like, let's make him a cop. I felt like there was gonna be something. You know what I mean. If y'all don't want to believe me, that's cool. You can if you don't want to. I felt like there was gonna be something like the Rodney King beatings. I felt like, man, that might be like, because I always wanted to be in the future. I always wanted the show to be based in the future. I was like, man, in the future, something's gonna happen. That Rodney King shit's gonna happen all over again. I felt it, and I was like, let me make something about a cop so people see what it's like, because I know I would never want to be a cop. You know, let's see what it's like from their point of view, and then let's also see what it's like from the streets. Also, you know, so there's that dichotomy with that. But you know, for those that don't know, it's about a police officer who gets in an accident, becomes a shape-shifting superhero. It's based in Houston, but it's a futuristic Houston,
Love
Texas.
that already.
Yeah, a little bit of RoboCop, a little bit of The Thing, a little bit of Bad Boys, a little bit of Blade Runner, NYPD Blues, CSI. That kind of feel to it, you know what I mean? That's what it's gonna be like.
I love it. I love it because the only thing I can compare it to is the feminine side of it that we're moving into in this world when it comes to dolls. I know ethnic dolls had a come up in the past 2 years for women, you know, ethnic dolls for little girls.
Isn't that something?
Oh, okay.
And it's very it's home based. It's a home based company.
Wow.
I can't remember what state it was.
I'm sorry. Like, you watch The Office?
I've heard it.
No? Okay.
Never seen it though.
So there's an episode where they talk about like it's the little girl with a unicorn. We'll probably like get a clip of it if we can get clearance, but like they sell like the white one, which is obviously the norm, and then Daryl, which is one of the main characters, he has one, or he wants to get one. No.
For his daughter?
That helps because now they're gonna kill me. Like no. So, no, yeah, that's
I already know Tony's gonna call you out.
No, I didn't get it. Daryl, he buys one for his daughter, but the guy, Toby, it's the last one that was available, so he tries to buy it, and Daryl's like, "Are you sure you want it?" And he ends up selling it for like $400. So he gives it to him. Toby's white, Daryl's black. So then Daryl's like, "All right, give me $400," and gives it to him, and hands it over, and it's a black doll, and he's like, "Oh." But he can't. He's like, "What's wrong with the?" Daryl's like, "What's wrong with the doll, Toby?" "No, nothing." But dude, that's what I love about like The Office. Like a lot of the stuff that it did back in the day, like they can't do now. Like people now they'll go into ruts and be all offended and shit. And
yeah.
It's like, come on.
So the one it was in the news because they had a showcase her work. Very innovative, new. You don't see it, and they she was interviewed. She's like my little girl we were shopping around for dolls and she had made a comment like I want to be just like her or something. She had her hair was different texture, and the mom was like it almost broke my heart because she wanted to be she didn't consider herself pretty like her doll.
The doll test.
Her favorite doll. She wasn't as pretty. So her mom had an idea, and she created her own brand with ethnic dolls, different hairstyles, hair textures. They got little mixed doll, everything.
It's fascinating that in today's society that we're barely coming out with stuff like that. I remember I'm seeing like some commercials and stuff now. I'm like, wow, there are a lot more. It's just mixed couples and more black people on TV, more minorities in general on TV, and it's just like wow, like they just it never.
But you're a part of it, that.
Yeah, I'm a part of it, and it's just like before growing up, you just always see just nothing but white people on TV, and it was never nobody questioned it. It wasn't like a big deal. Or
do you feel like that's kind of like a fire under like what drives you behind it?
No, my whole thing is just make something good. I want a good show. I want it to be funny. I want to have a lot of action. I want it to be very entertaining. I just want something that people will resonate with. Definitely the city of Houston will resonate with, because I want to show what the city's like, what different hoods are like, what different areas are like, why people love this city so much. I want other people, because that was another thing too, why I wanted to put it in Houston, because you always see Chicago, you always see New York, you always see LA.
Yes.
I've never even been.
Always gets undercut.
Always.
Even as far back, I remember like when the Rockets they won the championship. There was 2 editions of Sports Illustrated. There were 2 different editions. Like everywhere else, they sold this one that didn't have really the Rockets on there.
What?
And down south, and I remember seeing this somewhere. Like we look it up and probably put it up on there. And down in this area, that's where they had the Rocket on the cover.
Wow.
It's like it always gets undercut.
Yep. I remember when I was in the military, we were in like like I was in Kings Bay, Georgia, so that's like about an hour away from Jacksonville.
Okay.
And so the radio stations, they did not play anything from Houston. No Texas songs, no nothing. No Slim Thug, Paul Wall, no UGK even. Like, you never heard anybody from Houston. Never. I was like, wow. Like, they have nothing but Atlanta, nothing but people from New York. That's it. Nobody from Houston at all.
Atlanta gets it. Louisiana gets there. Not Houston.
Yeah.
I think Drake helped out a lot in putting music.
Always throwing, that's
we've talked about it before, but I mean, even when Mike Jones was doing it, I felt like even he kind of whitewashed it. Not whitewashed, I'm sorry, I didn't put that.
Made more mainstream.
Yeah, it was more pop.
Well,
little bit.
Right.
But he did put the name of Houston on the charts, but still, after he went kind of pop, he didn't follow it up with more like third coast feel energy.
I recently heard Little Flip. Just recently, something about, it was a new track, I forgot what it was.
Lil Flip's an artist too. He paints. He's a really He's a very good abstract painter. His abstract stuff, he paints. Check out his
You're blowing my mind with this.
Yeah,
I never would have imagined.
He paints. I like a lot of artwork.
Like he went towards the Jim Carrey kind of painting?
Right.
Is that what it was?
He does like a couple of cartoons and stuff like that. That stuff I'm not too big of a fan of, but his abstract work is legitimate.
I never would have fucking thought that.
Yeah, he paints. He is a painter. He paints a lot. He paints a lot in his spare time.
So, trajectory. After high school.
Right.
You went straight into military? Okay.
No, after high school, I worked for about 3 years. So I did everything. I worked at Office Max, I worked at GameStop, I worked at a place called Cargill. I used to open up fucking like the trains, like it was a week.
But this whole time you were still.
Oh yeah, I had always had the idea of the comics. I had always knew kind of where I wanted to take the direction of the comics and stuff. But I just wasn't really working on it. I honestly didn't really know too much about the industry. I really didn't know much of what I was doing in thinking back on it.
Okay, so the mentality is still like kind of like still in high school. I gotta get my education, but at the same time, always carrying on your sketch.
To interject on something that she talked about, that she glanced back and saw you on the sketch. You mentioned 2000 is when you started like.
Right, like about 2004,
so
2005.
Could it have been that one of the times when she glanced back, you were working on Soul?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure because
there's an old
I think I saw her.
There's an old portfolio I had.
I'm gonna say.
I like her.
There's an old portfolio I had that had old, like, original drawings that I lost at Reagan. I lost that portfolio. It was a portfolio that had like quite a few drawings in there.
It's because it was good.
If somebody has it, y'all make sure.
I'm telling you, it was legit. Like he would work on it, and it's like it wasn't like.
You might find it on eBay later on when you blow
maybe. If like somebody finds that, I'm coming for their neck because I'll be like, now I've been looking for this.
You've met people that I believe it was like my second boyfriend I ever dated. He would do sketches, and I remember he would sketch my name, and to me it's like, oh, it's cute, but compared to what you had going on. That's like, it wasn't like, oh, let me just make up something. It was more legit. Like we even have a friend that he actually created our logo for us. Yeah. Nice. And I can say that the style is very different.
Right.
And I remember you mentioned it on one of your posts not too long ago, which I know I kind of jumped subjects. But you made a great point, something that as a client or someone who does not know about art, you said, before you commit to something, make sure that the artist you're going to has a style that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Because if not, you're wasting time, you're wasting money.
Money, yep. That's one thing.
Because you're going to provide something. They have something, but you have your own style. I don't mean to interrupt.
I'm good.
But then I'm coming to understand what you're saying. Because then you present to them, this is what you told me, and this is what I can create for you. And they see it, they're like, that's not what I had in mind.
Right.
And then to you, you're like, okay, I'm not going to get paid for this. I just lost time. I just lost what could have been a potential client. Absolutely. And then they're not getting what they want.
The problem with that is there's really not a clear-cut business model that everybody kind of knows about when it comes to art. There's way too much of a gray area. You know what I'm saying? So for all the artists out there, you guys got to make sure that you establish yourself as either a commission artist or a non-commission artist. A commission artist, that is what they do. That is, they are there to meet the client's needs. They are there to switch styles. They are there to, figure out exactly what you want and then cater to the client. A non-commission artist, they have their own style. They do their own thing. They want to create more often. They want to, do their own kind of thing. They can do commissions, However, the best commissions that they are like the ones that pay well, the ones that where they are able to do well in their art career by doing commissions is the client lets them do their own thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need a mural for whatever. Do whatever the heck you want. They give them a theme and they do everything they want in their own style, and the other person doesn't say anything.
The buddy that she's talking about, shout out to Zeus. He super talented, and he's non-commissioned. Yet there is one instance that I know that he has somebody that hired him to do a mural and paid him and just said, take as long as you want. And he's been working on it for a while. I'm talking about years, and they're fine with it.
That's awesome.
Because they know he's going to produce something awesome.
Yeah, for all the artists out there, decide what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with either direction you want to go in.
Yeah.
Just make sure you decide what you want. You can make as a career, being a commission artist, you can do well if you want to draw full time. You know what I'm saying? But you have to. That's the thing, is you have to train yourself to meet different styles. I want it drawn in like a Simpsons sort of style. I want it more realistic. I want logos done. I want a t-shirt design. I wanted something more geared towards children. You're constantly switching up your style. If you're a non-commissioned artist, man, you draw in your style. You want to create your own thing. You want to paint however you want. If you want to smear shit on the wall or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The clients are like, whatever. We know that you're popular, post like your stuff.
People are going to seek you out
for whatever it is that you do. I consider myself a non-commissioned artist. I have never, I wouldn't say never, but it has been very rare where I have been commissioned to do a piece or a logo or something where it was no fuss, rarely any revisions or anything like that. I didn't have to charge over and over, or it was a lot of back and forth. It's been very rare dealing with that. If I would have been focused on meeting the client's needs, I would have probably made a lot more money doing art. But if that was something that I'd like to have done, then I would have been happy doing that. But because I always just want to create paintings. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do my own thing. I just was never. It was always a clash with anyone. Whether it was the price or whatever.
It sounds like for you, it's not anything about. It's not about money. It's you want to create.
Right.
You want to create what's in you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I want. My thing with artwork, it was always like I want to be up there with the. And I'm not taking anything from those that do commission work. It's just that I want to be up there with like the Steve Jobs, Picasso, Da Vinci. I want when I die, folks be like, oh man, Winston Williams, like he was known, he did this, his stuff's in the museum.
That's impressive because that's knowing yourself.
Right.
And I mean, in any industry, that's hard to do.
Absolutely.
Because you can have what you're good at, but if you don't know yourself, you're gonna lose track of it.
It even goes back to the essence of just an everyday person. It's like you either have a job or you do what you love.
Exactly.
And if you can be blessed enough to do what you love and get paid.
Yeah, but it's tricky because some people do what they're good at and they don't love it. And they can make great money, but you sense the void in their soul. Like, at least I do. I can pick up on shit like that.
I work in automotive paint, and I got a buddy who opened up a shop. He would do insurance estimating, and then did buddy's cars on the side. He loved it, absolutely loved it. Loved getting off work, going working for a couple hours, waking up the next day and do it all over again.
Wow.
Quit his insurance job, did the body shop full time, hated it.
Wow.
Absolutely hated it, yet he sold over 6 figures in a year.
Damn.
Hated it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He went back to insurance.
Dude, it kills you.
Wow.
It kills you so when you don't love it.
Up to the point that he hated it. And that has to suck.
That does.
That has to suck. To do what you love and do it so much that you dislike it. I mean.
It's hard. It's tough. But again, props to you, man. Like, because it takes, I want to say.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything like that.
No, because everybody has their own trajectory.
Yeah, I'm like saying like, oh, I'm fucking awesome and whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, if you either shit or get off the pot. Like, that's my thing. It's like, if I'm gonna do artwork, I want to be up there. I want my art to be like, I want people to look at stuff and like burst into tears.
Because I feel
or,
like it's
think,
harder
you know
for
what I
you
mean?
because you know yourself and you're not here to please other people. And
Right.
that's made it harder for you.
Right, right.
In a way.
Is the okay? I guess is this your sources of income or do you have a day job?
I have a day job.
Yeah.
I'm a handyman. I fix things.
Wait, well, I guess this is related because going back to the military, like,
Right.
what was your
Oh, yeah.
trajectory?
In the military, I had so like I said, I got out of high school, did HCC for about a year, did little odd jobs, did a lot of temp work, just a lot of like real, just manual labor here and there. And I had lost my temp job. I believe it was a company where I would spray radiant barrier. Radiant barrier is silver paint that people come in and put on in your attic to keep a little bit of the heat away.
Okay.
I had just lost that job. I didn't know. I just didn't want to go through the whole.
For what reason? Can you you want
Oh,
to?
yeah. It's pretty funny.
Is this a story or not?
When you in the attic in Texas in the summer,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it is freaking hot.
He was in the middle of a giant. Fuck this
A
job.
sauna, basically a sauna.
More than
I
a
can
sauna.
only imagine. I can
Man,
only
that's sauna.
imagine.
We get 120 degrees and
Oh yeah,
In the attic, no.
yeah. It was about them attics would be about maybe about 130 degrees.
So was it
something
one
like
of
that.
those fuck this shit kind of scenarios?
No, it wasn't that.
Okay,
It
okay.
was like it gets so hot and it's really dark in the attics too. Cause it makes me think. I was like, this must be what hell is like.
Yeah.
But it was so hot that like the waves and stuff would form. Like you could see the waves.
Man.
It was hot.
Ooh.
It was super hot in the attics. And so one day I was like, man, it's hot in the motherfucking here. I took my shirt off. We finished the job. And I came down the damn attic with my shirt off. And the customer was like, about it or whatever. And then they were like, well, you got to go.
Insecurity,
What?
insecurity.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was very unprofessional. When I think about it, it was pretty unprofessional. But I
At
had
the
to take my
same
shirt
time-
off and get out of that.
But that's
that
health,
house.
That's
though.
like a health hazard
Yeah.
too, though. I mean,
Yeah,
You're
it
just
was-
I don't think.
That's an
Yeah,
insecure
I
person.
don't think it's a fire. It's grounds for firing it. But
Mhm.
I get what you're saying
Right.
too. Like, hey, you shouldn't come down with your shirt off. But
Right.
Not to fire.
Yeah, maybe a write up. Yeah, maybe a write up or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was it Tim?
But the
I think
thing
it was Tim.
is, like, even as an employer, you're in, like, heat where you can pass out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's bad for
Oh, yeah.
your health.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we
and
had to
I'm
wear
no
suits.
consideration
We had
about
like wear
that.
plastic suits and stuff and spray
Oh,
that
man.
stuff. Oh yeah.
No, and you
How
have
long
to
did you
because-
do that for
You
anyway?
have to because of
Couple
the
months.
fiberglass. You know, you'd be all
Yep.
itchy.
Oh yeah, and we laid the
Absolutely.
and we laid the insulation down. So we would spray that, and then we would have to put the fiberglass
no.
down. Arms itching. Oh man. Yeah, that's a serious work.
So it was
right there.
actually a win for you to get fired from that job.
Yeah, it actually was, cause I had they had let me go, and then I believe it was like maybe that Monday, Wednesday, something like that. I was like really upset, didn't know what to do. I had went downtown to the recruiting office. They had all the branches there, downtown's office, San Jacinto, and I went to the Navy because my ex-girlfriend at the time, her dad and her brother were in the Navy, and I remember her dad had told me on the phone, you know, you're a young man. It's a really good idea for you to try to go to the Navy. It's gonna
This
make a big
is 19?
difference. I was 21 at the time.
Oh, okay.
I was 21 at the time, and he was like, you know, it would be a really good opportunity if you decide to go to the Navy. I'm just letting you know. I remember him telling me that. I was like, go Navy, and
You were together with your ex-girlfriend at the time.
we were like kind of on and off
Okay,
at
okay.
that time. But I joined the Navy, and I was gone a week to the day. I took the ASVAB. I did my PRT, I did all that a week. It was on a Friday. The next Friday I was gone on that plane,
That.
just like that, because I was in decent shape,
Yeah.
and I'd get a 57 on my ASVAB. I would have got a higher score if I would have remembered how to add, subtract, and divide fractions. I would have probably got like maybe a 70 or something, because the rest of the ASVAB was easy. That shit was easy. The reading comprehension, the little spatial knowledge, that shit was easy as hell. Like,
And that's to assign a rank, right?
all it is a vocational test. So
Okay.
it just tries to see what kind of job you'd be best suited
Right.
for.
Right.
Okay.
The same thing like when they take a
What was
vocation.
that like though? I mean, joining at 21, and I'm sure you had got 18-year-olds
Right,
in there.
right.
So what was that like?
The funny thing was in boot camp, like they were young. Some of them had never had a job before. Some of them were fresh out of high school. Some of them were like, it was like a family thing. Their family was
all
in.
walks of life. And
Yeah, all walks of
Yeah,
life,
I
all
can
over
only
the
imagine.
nation. Oh man, it was something
Where,
else.
Where'd you go in the U.S.? What base?
I was in with the Great Lakes, so that's where boot camp was, and then my A school was also in Illinois also. So like literally like there's this massive base.
What time of the year?
Ooh, the worst time.
Winter.
It was late. What was it? It was November? No. September. When the hell did I join? September.
Cold as fuck. That's
Yeah.
Detroit.
It was September when I was.
That's all you have to know, yeah.
So like we were there for 90
Especially
days.
when you're from the south here, man.
Oh yeah, we were there for 90 days.
Ooh.
And then it was winter time. My hands were too big. They didn't have my glove size.
Nobody told me I needed a jacket. What the fuck?
Yeah, we were like the Invisible Man. We had his face all wrapped up. That's what it is. They give you the little hat, all that. It was fucking cold. I didn't have gloves. They didn't assign me gloves because my hands were too big. They didn't have my size at the damn the index or whatever. So my fingers had cracked open and started bleeding, and my thumbs. It was that cold. It was really cold. But that wasn't even as cold as it got when I was over there. Because in my A school, it was -14 one day, and it was so cold I could feel like when I moved my face to talk or whatever, you could feel the muscle fibers in
Skin,
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. If you breathe too hard, if you have symptoms, that shit will frost
You
up.
feel like you got robbed? Because most of the first year Navy people that I've known, they get stationed at Norfolk.
Oh, Norfolk?
I get a lot of people that get stationed at Norfolk.
Really? Oh man.
A lot. First timers too.
Really? Oh man. No.
I hear it a lot. I've gone to different bases because of friends visiting, but Norfolk was a big, especially for Navy.
When I came in, I was supposed to be a
Or
gunner's
San
mate.
Diego.
I was supposed to be a gunner's mate
Okay.
when I came in when I first got in. But I had wanted to switch jobs that I didn't like the A school, and I was on hold for like 8 months. So I spent a lot of time.
What didn't you like about A school?
Sorry. Why were you on hold?
I was on hold because they were switching jobs over, so they had to assign me, to get, my travel in, my lodging and all that. All the paperwork had to be done so that I could switch jobs to MA, which is Master at Arms, basically military police. And then I had to go to San Antonio and then take that A school, which was a lot better than Gunner's Mate A school. Way better. Like everything I wish I would have came in as an MA or even a CB. I really wanted to go SF. That's the only thing I regret about the military.
SF.
Special Forces. That's the only thing I regret is not taking the chance and seeing if I had what it took to be a SEAL.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in there when I was in the recruiting office downtown. They had the movies playing. They were showing SEALs and Buzz training. I was like, man. But it's just like the only reason I would have wanted to join SEAL just to see if I had what it took, to see if I was man enough to be.
You could have been in there with taking down what's his name?
Osama. I could have been on that team.
Shit.
I could have been on that
Would have had a
team.
movie about you.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I regret about the military. That's it. Everything else was awesome. Everything else was great. I wish I would have kind of had maybe a little bit of knowledge of being in the military, like knowing what was expected, kind of what I should have done as far as my education.
So you were first in your family in the military. Right?
Let me see. I believe I had some great uncles that may have gone in, but it was not like we were like a military family or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was just something that I just did on a whim, and it was great. And I
appreciate that, man. That takes a lot of courage. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to
I just need the money, really. I said, fuck it, man.
How long were you in Michigan for?
4 years enlisted. It's a great thing. Got out honorable, thank goodness.
Good job.
But it was just, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I made a lot of horrible decisions. It was jobs, women, just anything.
We're not all bad men.
I made a lot of bad decisions, but joining the military.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Yes, I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the reason I got the job right now is because I was a veteran.
Really?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
There's perks. You still see perks and stuff.
Sure.
Anybody young that's listening to this, you 18, if you thinking about it, go for it. Go while they still have the benefits, because no telling, with the way the government shutdown had happened recently, blah blah. It could be a day they might take away the educational benefits. They might switch up whatever they offer people, but as long as they got the benefits,
I
go for
hope
it.
not. I hope not, because I mean that's one of the best things about this country. Like, well, at least try to take care of our vets and stuff, and keep those benefits up, because we need it. And I mean, there's not everybody that would do that kind of sacrifice.
Absolutely, yeah. When people tell you the stories like, oh, well, I knew such and such, and they having a hard time finding a job, or I've seen a lot of homeless vets and stuff, that's on the individual, really. It really is, because there's a lot of programs. They give housing, they give grants, they give you education, people only hire veterans.
But it's also like you said.
You have to be able to take advantage of them.
Oh, man.
Utilize them.
Do your research. It's a ton of stuff out there.
But there's also different walks of life. Like you said,
Absolutely.
going in,
Right.
there's different walks of life going in, and I feel like going out, there's also not only walks of life, but circumstances. The experiences that I've heard of, because I'm not a vet, I've never been in the military, but the experiences that I've heard was mostly through my time when I was working at the post office. I worked right next to a lot of veterans. And I know sometimes he's like, oh, you don't like military. And I'm like, it's not that I don't like it. I respect it, highly respect it, don't get me wrong. But I also see the negatives in the long term.
Right.
And it's like, almost like the way I think about the court system, the judicial system, it's broken.
Right.
I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm not saying like, I don't want anybody to go through that. Like if you're a criminal, you're going to go through it. But again, the outcomes of it, the different circumstances, it's not all great and gravy like I wish it would be. You know, I feel almost resentful when it comes to, for example, the VA office.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how are you going to put so much money into the military? And this might get to me because I can see how it can be controversial.
Right.
But how are you going to put so much money into it, but when an individual leaves, let's say there were, you know, unfortunate circumstances, they're tossed out. I feel like the government is like, well, why would we spend money if it's just broken goods in a way?
Right.
And to me, it's like, in my head, seeing that I love so many veterans and I see the struggle, you walk into a veterans hospital, dude, that is heartbreaking. I am so sorry. I'm going to put it out there. It's heartbreaking.
Right.
I wish that on no one.
Right.
And there's vets. I understand you're saying there's programs. It's not that clean cut.
It's not. They don't really. There's a ton of opportunities. There's a ton of like just little stuff. Like they give you housing and all that. Like if you're in a comp, there's other little constituencies and whatnot. But there's a lot of stuff that they offer.
When it comes to mental health,
which is
really big today. Yeah, and as a volunteer, you know, after college, I have volunteered a lot with the 22. Was it Veterans 22, which they do marches all the time.
Oh, nice.
And I do these things, I do these events mostly because they're big drinkers, man. Vets, I'm sorry. I volunteer these events and I'm over here doing walks and runs and all of these things, but I know I'm having a great time. I'm having drinks with, you know, and they bring their spouses along and you hear stories, man. It's not always clean cut. It's not always pinks and roses and glitter, and it's not always bad either.
Right.
But I do have my reservations if I were to ever have a loving family member trying to go into it.
No.
That's, you know, again, I don't think I'm against it.
Right.
But man, if I really love you, I would rather not, you know, sort of deal.
Yeah, that's just about knowledge, you know what I'm saying? If somebody kind of peeps you up on a little bit of game, lets you know what kind of jobs to look out for, you know, what kind of stations you can get, you know, places you can go where you can get stationed at.
The only thing I can relate it to was your stance on the police.
Right, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
As an African American male.
Right.
Like you said, 10 years ago, you said that's not what you know, it's not an ideal position.
Right.
But times change, society changes, our mentality changes.
Absolutely.
And you go from I wouldn't to it's respectable, but sort of, or like the scariness. It's just
touching base on what you're talking about. Like you wouldn't want to, like if it's something that you care about, you wouldn't want them to go into the military. Going back to you, you got a kid. He wants to join the military.
Absolutely, I don't give a fuck how much money I got, whatever. You know, if she want to go, I'm 100% behind her. Cause shit, I don't want to pay for no damn college.
I feel that.
Shit, I'd rather save that money, get her a car.
And you hear that a lot of vets are thrilled when they're young ones, no matter what the circumstance they were in.
I remember when I got sworn in, their families were there. It's like a big deal. They were taking pictures, and I'm just there by myself, and it's like whatever. You know, I didn't get it, but now I'm like, oh yeah, I see why their whole family was so geeked out on it because it's a big deal going in. You know what I'm saying? You know, being enlisted and all that. Oh man, it's awesome. It's awesome. I would if I had to go through it again, I would do it again. All over again.
I'm sure I would. I'm sure if I had gone through that route.
I'm curious. What are you doing with the pipe? Like I actually started. I tried out pipe. I'm more of a cigar.
Oh, cigar guy. Okay.
I couldn't.
Okay.
I didn't get on. I didn't hop on with the pipe. But I
okay.
tried it out. I bought me one of these little cheap ones.
Uh-huh.
And bought some tobacco from. I stopped by one of those cigar shops.
Right.
And
I
know.
don't. We're adulting
it
now.
was called Havana Smoke or something on 1960, and they walked me through it a little bit. And
Okay.
They sold in bulk, and I bought like 2 bags of different types of tobacco.
Right.
But what do you do?
This right here, this is Prince Albert. This is Prince Albert. This is really dope. I like it a lot. I'm big on flavor, so I like cigars also. I don't buy packs of cigarettes. I'll bum a cigarette from you. Got a cigarette, I ain't got nothing. I might bum one from you, but I'm big on flavor. I like smoking Al Capone sweets. I've tried
Is that what that was? Or?
No, that was a Black and Mild. You know, Black and Milds are okay.
Black and Milds are good though.
Yeah, they're
good,
pretty good. That's a good brand, you know what I'm saying? But like stuff that you get like at Specs or whatever, you know, I'm trying different little cigars. Some brands like I'm big on flavor. I like good, nice, bold flavors, sweet stuff.
Romeo and Juliet from Specs, or Romeo and Julieta or whatever.
He said, "Ooh." Was that a good brand?
It was expensive. It was like
okay.
$10 for the fucking.
Well, he said,
cigars.
"Ooh." I mean, I'll take his word for it.
It was good, but yeah, no, I couldn't hop on it too much because I was like, it wasn't. I felt the flavor,
right?
Like the aroma and everything was really nice, but the hit,
right?
It's not
for me. Yeah. For me, I like this because
so is it a stronger hit?
Yeah,
compared to a cigarette, or compared to a cigar, or what?
Man, compared to a cigarette, smoking a pipe for me is a lot better. Don't really get no headaches. In cigarettes like Newports, for example, y'all probably leave that brand out. I get like a headache. My stomach doesn't feel really good. You know, I get that nicotine fix, but it's just like I can taste the chemicals. I'm like, man, something ain't right about what I'm doing right now. You know, I can't just like buy a pack, smoke a whole pack. Like,
no, this is literally like the most organic you can get.
Yeah, really.
It's just straight tobacco. It's not
straight tobacco. Yeah.
So is it chewing? Like, is it the same? I have no idea about this, man. Like,
I don't know.
I never dipped or anything or chewed.
I tried it. I thought it was nasty. If y'all dip, I'm sorry. But
no, I hear it's kind of big on military.
Because
people dip all the time.
Yeah.
It has some shit where like it cut, like when you put it in your lip, it cuts up the inner lip to get the nicotine in. And I felt the high like
really
super quick. Like
the
nicotine gets in you real quick, but just the fact that like spitting and you got shit floating around in your mouth, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was never big on dipping or anything, but with this right here, the flavor's a lot better. No headaches, nice little buzz off of it. I dig it. You know what I'm saying? Cigars, it hits me a little bit harder.
Right.
In the chest, you know, I like a nice hit, you know what I'm saying, where you feel the warmth and stuff, you know, all in your chest, like, you know.
I felt like it was too much.
Yeah, it's you kind of feel like, damn, I'm about to die in a minute, like, damn, you know, you can't just smoke a whole cigar, you can bump it a little bit and you be smoked out, like, especially with backwoods. God damn, I get sleepy as hell. Yeah, I would just smoke straight backwoods, or I would just smoke a straight, just straight cigars, like, you know what I'm saying, I would just smoke them like that, just to see what the flavor's like.
It was a learning experience for me. I remember doing my first cigar, and I remember, I was smoking like if it was a cigarette, and the guy was like, "You don't want to do that. Like you're I don't even think he cared about my health. I think I was fucking up his cigar."
Have you ever tried clove cigars?
Yeah.
Blacks.
Right.
That's the shit that I used to smoke. I used to smoke a lot more. But cigarettes and cigars too. That stuff will get you high. That's like borderline like weed. It's like, man.
Darium blacks or whatever.
Yeah.
They're sweet, good flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, but it's definitely you can feel it big time.
Going back to military, so okay, after I'm still kind of like trying to see your trajectory, man. Like, okay, military. Do you feel like that has also impacted your comic? Like seeing that he's cop and
well, I learned a lot about law enforcement being a master at arms. Funny story though, I was in the Navy, but I've never been overseas. I was a master at arms, but I never did any law enforcement. We learned law enforcement, never did any law enforcement. And what else? Yeah, never been overseas, never did law enforcement, and never been on a ship. I was in the Navy, never been on a ship.
Really?
Never been on a ship. As a master at arms, you have to do base police or security.
Did you feel that void where you wanted me?
No, hell no.
That's probably the only reason I wouldn't join Navy.
Our mutual friend, he was in the Army. He feels that void. Like he hates the fact that he didn't get deployed in
Ah.
battle.
See no actions,
Right.
combat and stuff. Yeah, you might feel a little bit embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be like a little embarrassed. 'Cause my buddy, I have a buddy that's SF. He talks shit all the time. Oh yeah. Oh,
But that's part of being military.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, yeah.
Between branches, between like ranks. Oh man, that's what I love
Hold on.
about it.
You're gonna like this question, but you ever get into it with other military, like other branches, like it's talking
Oh
shit?
man.
I can tell you that.
No, I won't talk too much shit. But like, if somebody, if somebody says they're in the Air Force, I'd be like, oh. You know, cause I seen what, cause Master at Arms, our A school was in Lackland Air Force Base. Sorry for those of y'all that Air Force. I'm sorry, the boot camp was a little easy, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit
Lightweight, a little bit lightweight.
Yeah, I know ours for sure was a lot more
I'm
tame.
so thriving in this conversation.
I know ours for sure was a lot more tame than Marines or Army. Our boot camp, all we did was like fold and stow. We got beat or whatever, you know, so we would do little push-ups, jumping jacks, stuff like that, but it wasn't like hardcore. I know the Marines, they have a hardcore boot camp, and Army, especially if you go on infantry, it's going to be a lot more hardcore with their boot camp and stuff. Plus they learn a lot more like survival skills and stuff like that. But Navy, I was a little bit more laid back. But Air Force, man, they got like weekends off and shit like that. I'm like, this is boot camp, dude. What the fuck out? What the fuck y'all doing right here? I'm like, nah, man.
Tell me more.
If you say you're on the Coast Guard or the Air Force, people gonna kind of look at you like, okay. Okay, that's cool. It's all love though. It's all love. I love it.
You didn't see her, but when she took a drink, she had her pinky up.
It's very personal. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, it was.
If you don't have anything to say, just leave it in the comments.
Yeah, please leave it in the
That's what
comments.
I'm thriving on. I'm gonna be driving on those comments.
It was fantastic though. I loved every minute of it. Like all the little perks, discounts, and stuff that we got. I got out of so many tickets. Oh man, I can skip.
Really?
Oh man,
You just flashed the military
Man,
ID?
you give me military ID, man. I should have got like maybe about 60% more tickets. I would have gotten way more tickets.
I saw the perks of it at bars,
Oh yeah.
especially in college. If you had the opportunity or you were offered to go back in, would you take it?
Absolutely. You get,
Even having your passion project going on,
right.
And I feel like it's strong.
Right.
That wouldn't take away from first.
Not that, nope, because there's a lot of downtime. It's just like a job. It's like, the best way I can describe it, it's like a job where, say for instance, if you live in a apartment complex and you go to work, when you come home from work, everybody that you work with is your neighbor. People that you work with, it's more of a family dynamic, more so than a co-worker dynamic. It's kind of, it's just like, you're working with your family. The people that you see outside of work are there all the time. It's just like you just live basically you just live with your whole work environment. And you get your freedom, but you get about maybe 85% of your freedom, depending on where you're deployed to, what your station is, stuff like that. You can go, you can have your own time, you can do your own thing, but there's always that chance where you might be called to muster. So it's just, they'll be like, it'll be 12,
Both of our heads were
Mustard?
Yeah, mustard. You'll be called to muster, and it's just like, we need everybody here. They'll call you up, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning. We need everybody here.
On call.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's so random, it's like fire drill. Everybody shows up, stands in formation, wait till everybody's accounted for, and then you go back home. You can be 2, 3, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. It's all based on the command. They be like, we need everybody. You could be in, like, because we were in Kings Bay, Georgia. That's about an hour outside of Jacksonville. I could be in Jacksonville partying, boom. We got a text from
what does boom mean?
I
just
anything, matter. I could be in a chick house or whatever.
I'm trying to juicy.
It's best not to get outside of a 100-mile radius.
Right.
That's what they tell you. Don't go outside of a 100-mile radius. Don't just like, on your weekend, like basically take fucking leave and be gone like in a whole other state or nothing like that. Don't take no flights, because if you call the muster and you don't show up, that's a court-martial right there.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, it's jail time. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's like.
You're considered MIA, going to MIA, right?
MIA. Yeah, that's almost like treason right there. You can't do that. Crazy. Yeah, that's all. You only get about 85%, because you sometimes on your weekends y'all might have like a training session, so you'll just Go in, watch a PowerPoint, you know, stand in formation, then you go back home. You know what I'm saying? But this crazy thing, there's some people can't deal with that. Like seeing people that you work with every day.
Yeah.
You know, some people can't deal with that. I didn't really. It was just a job. You know what I'm saying? It's no big deal.
To staying on track as far as like your comic and your
Right,
art.
right.
How did you work on your art when you were in?
When I first was in the boot camp and stuff, I had met a few people that were gonna help me work on it later on. I had that was in 2009. That was more of like.
So you were recruiting when you were there?
Oh yeah. It was more development. It was
You
just a lot.
sly dog, you.
Yeah. It was a lot of development. A lot of what's the story gonna be like? What are the characters like? What
So
are
you
the personalities
always knew
like?
what you wanted to do.
Yeah, it was like.
That's impressive, man.
I could definitely see where it was
Very
going.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got all these things going around and popping up around you, but you sort of focus.
Oh
on
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a hiatus for a couple of years when I got out in
How many years?
like from like 2009 to 2012. Once I got out, bam, hit the ground running. Went to the Art Institute. I was pretty much I was done with the first issue. In 2013, I was done with it. You know, on digitally, it was done. Like everything was done. The pages were done, stuff like that. It just hadn't gone to print. Different experiences definitely helped with the creation of the story, some of the personalities of the characters, this, that, and the third. Definitely. Being in the military definitely helped the whole creative process behind the book. Definitely, big time. Learn a lot more about people, personalities, life experiences.
Because you got the different paths of life,
Right,
and
right.
you experienced it, but then at the same time, the military, I can see it.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, because part of the two main characters, they were in the service, so then I could definitely play on that. You know what I'm saying? And I think what I want to do, if it ever becomes a huge success, is I would definitely pay it forward and contribute to the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because they helped me out when I needed an engine for my car, and that was like almost $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, they just helped me get my car fixed and everything. Yeah, while I was in.
This question might be like a little behind the scenes.
Mhm.
What branch of the Navy were they?
Huh? Derek was Army. I'm gonna have him go Army, but I'm gonna have Sean be SEAL, Navy SEAL, definitely,
Oh, okay.
absolutely, yeah. Cause it just makes more sense that way. They can talk shit about each other. Oh man, yeah. Cause I'll definitely have him Army, but yeah, they're definitely military, ex-military, definitely. And part of the whole story with it being in the future, this is after the World Trade War. It's almost like World War III, but I didn't want to call it World War III. It's a trade war with China. China won the war, we lost. And everything has been changed afterwards. It's sort of like
so that's like going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew in issue two, this one right here. If y'all check it out, this was in 2015. I didn't put a date on. I don't know why I didn't put a date on there. But you can actually check on my DeviantArt, like when I actually posted on there. 2015, we had President Twait in there, and we already knew that Trump was going to win. We even put Make America Great Again in this. In 2015, we knew it was going to win. We put it's in here.
Wow.
That's facts. That's facts. We had that. I don't know if we coined the
My
term
mind
or
blown.
what.
My mind blown right now.
It's in there. It's in that book, Make America Great Again. That book came out in 2015.
I feel like I'm too sober for this
Yes.
conversation.
Yep.
I want to talk a lot of shit about this, but
Yeah, but that's sort of the whole thing behind it. Like, we lost the war. China came for their money. A lot of Houston has changed. A lot of things are bilingual in
When
Chinese.
Rihanna, bitch better have my money.
Yeah, there was not playing.
Are you, even though I can be educated in politics, is that your passion? Is politics a big part of you?
No, see, my thing behind the whole creative process was I'm an ideas guy. I'm the guy that comes in like, I want to see this happen, I want to see this happen, I kind of see where this sort of story arc is going, I have the whole blueprint laid out, but I cannot write a narrative, so I usually outsource writers to help me write, what would be best for, this sort of scenario if it comes to law enforcement, or this sort of scenario when it comes to if they have to deal with a homicide situation, or just,
You have to
different
have a
dynamics.
woke mentality.
Right,
When I
right.
say quote unquote woke mentality, I don't want to be too extremist on the woke movement, but everything you talk about when it comes to politics, the diversity, where we are now, you put it in print. You had this idea in 2015.
Right.
This is 4 years ago.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, how do I feel about it now?
Like,
It's strange. It's sort of like a surreal feeling because it's just like
Yeah.
when you dwell on something. Like I think of it in my mind constantly. I actually it's on YouTube. You guys can check it out. The Soul animated series theme song. I've like dabbled in like production, like with music and stuff like that. I made that song for the show. I listen to it almost every single day.
When you say you made it,
Uh-huh.
you mean?
I produced the song on Fruity Loops. I made that song myself.
Nice.
Yeah. Like I listen to it almost every single day. I think about what's the intro going to look like, what are the characters going to be like, what are their facial expressions going to be, what's like, what kind of guns are they going to. I always think of like all the elements. I'm just the guy that puts in all the elements to it.
Who's the voice actors you want?
Oh man,
Ideally, I see more
That's a
your
good
favorite
question. You just rawed him up, man.
Who's the voice actor?
Ideally, I would want Kiati from 97.9 to play Derek, and I would want Paul Wall to play
shit.
Sean. Yeah, definitely. With Star, maybe Super Scent, or because she's from Louisiana, so Super Scent or Everything Else. That's another chick on Instagram that has like a really good Louisiana accent. Plus, she can do good acting and stuff like that. But with Star, it's gonna be a lot difficult because this show will be it's very international. It's very diverse. So I need Spanish. I need to get posters made of the other two main characters.
Okay.
I call them the JRs. One is Jesus Ramos, and the other one's Johnny Rodriguez. Johnny Rodriguez, I would love to have John Leguizamo to play him. Oh my God! But with Jesus, I have no idea because they have two different. Because Jesus is Cuban, and Johnny is Mexican, so they would fuck with each other about that. You know what I'm saying?
I can already.
And plus they have two different dialects with the Spanish.
Very different, and and it's not necessarily like going against each other, but it's like the prideful of
They're both prideful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And plus they're partners, so then you have that sort of dynamic.
And
they have to work with each other. Oh man,
That's a lot of opportunity right there.
Big time.
Yeah,
with voice actors, if we get greenlit to like actually make a show or whatever, if we get greenlit for a whole season, like that's the only thing in Houston. Gotta find bilingual people. Need Chinese speakers. I need Spanish speakers. I need Japanese speakers, Korean speakers, and like we're not just everybody ain't just gonna speak English. There's gonna be some subtitles on there.
Nice.
I want to be very bilingual, very international.
That's representative of Houston overall.
Exactly.
The culture.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
a melting pot of so many different cultures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm proud of you, man. I'm impressed. Most importantly.
People see the main character and
No.
they see her and they think it's like a black thing, but like no, like he's Asian and like the people that they deal with, like the main characters, main 5 characters is Asian, black, and then 2 two Hispanic, Spanish speaking characters, and like that's like I wanted to be very diverse.
Call the Cuban Mexican.
No, but what I'm saying about what I'm impressed about is not only are you a great artist, you're a great artist, man. Like since I've known of you, I've met we went to high school together. 2001, and then we graduated 2005. Wait, let me talk. But not only are you a good artist, your creativeness, dude, and the fact that you're willing to dabble in and put yourself out there in music and producing, you're extending yourself in so many different ways, and you make it seem like, yeah, it's just my downtime. And I'm over here struggling to just keep my 9 to 5 and this little passion project. Like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm freaking out.
No,
it's just impressive,
it's
man.
legit. Like those are your art,
Yes.
right? That's you.
I painted this here. I painted this. This is literally my first painting ever. Oil painting is my
Look
first
at that.
oil painting ever.
Like I look at it and I can hear him.
Yeah.
I can hear him.
This is my first oil painting ever. This is the
Get your
second
shit
one.
together, man.
That's the
what
third
you're
one,
saying.
fourth one, and then this one I was just kind of practicing again. But I watched YouTube. You can learn a lot of shit on YouTube, people. I learned by watching.
Don't lie. I tried doing makeup on YouTube.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you.
That's
Obviously.
He's creative as fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the whole thing behind it. The goals is just to really make a really good show that's authentic in a sense. I always bring up Friday as an example. Friday is one of those movies that's near perfect, but the great things about Friday is you have great characters, and there's a good little nugget of realism with it. You know people like Smokey, you know people like Craig. You know, you see, like if you've been in the hood, you've had that experience.
You know a Craig.
Exactly.
You
like
know it's not cute.
that's the thing. It's like I've seen a lot of shows or things that may be a little bit more urban or
They exaggerate on that.
yeah, exaggerate a little bit. It's a little bit stereotypical. Of course, we're gonna have stereotypes and stuff on the show, but you know, I wanted there to be a little bit of realism. I want, like, when we have like a scene in Fifth Ward, Third Ward, where I'm like, I want people from Houston to be like, that's exactly what it's like in there. That's exactly what it's like in the hood at that night, or exactly. I want to show feature.
I compare it to
clubs,
that
all kinds of
movie,
stuff.
Lyric, something Lyric.
Jason's Lyric.
Jason's Lyric. I compare it to that movie. What you're saying, because it was filmed here in Houston. There was a part where what's that? A DJ for 979. Famous one, old one.
Mad Hatter?
Mad Hatter. He came on there.
Oh, well, he was on that movie.
He was that yeah.
Wow.
There's a small clip where they're in the car and he comes on.
Wow.
Yeah, and to me it's like he's driving through Fifth Ward. I know where that street is. You hear Mad Hatter, like that's he's
exactly.
even their love making scene. I know where that shit is. I know where that bridge is.
Exactly.
I know where that.
See, you always get that with New York. You always get New York and LA. I've never been to either one of those cities. I've never been to Los Angeles, never been to New York City. But I know if I go there, I'm going to Central Park. I'm going to go to the Statue of Liberty. I want people to know that about Houston. I want them to go to Memorial. I want them to go to downtown. I want them to ride the Metro Rail. That's the whole thing behind it. Like, you know, so not only do you get a good show, but like we got landmarks, places y'all can visit.
That's
I want to
great.
feature. If y'all have a business out here in the city, please hit me up. You know, we can feature, I call it dynamic product placement. Is, you know.
Speaking about hitting you up, how can people find you?
Oh, people can find me. You can find me on the gram. I have 2 different Instagrams.
Go ahead.
One of them is the Soul Comic, TheSoulcomic. My other Instagram is Winston Williams Art, WINSTON Williams Art, all one word, no underscore. That's on both of them. Y'all can just find me on there. If you want, please screenshot and share the stuff and tag me on it. It makes a big difference. If you don't want to buy a book, I don't care.
You have a great following already, man.
Yeah, we got a pretty good following going so far.
We're kind of doing like fucking stock mode on you, and he's like, dude, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I know.
What does that feel like? What does that feel like to be able to have that growth, that kind of volume of people?
It's kind of neutral, you know what I'm saying? Cause
you feel the pressure?
Not really. Don't really feel the pressure right now, because it's like people know about it, but it's not like known. You know what I mean? Like with anybody that's trying to. With anybody that's trying.
I know we're over here struggling with like 300.
Yeah, I got 5 views on my Facebook post. I'm like, ooh.
When we hit 10, we're like,
yeah, and he's like, wow, dude, he gets a lot of followers. I'm like, I told you, man.
It's strange because it's neutral, because I guess it feels neutral because there hasn't really been a big major financial comeback from it. You know what I mean? Like with the finances and the resources, you know, it's gonna feel like, okay, the pressure's on. You know what I mean? Money's coming in. A lot of people are watching.
Expectation.
We got to deliver. You know what I mean? With that, there may be a little bit more pressure. But for right now, it's known, but it's not like known. Like you have to. For anybody out there that has to deal with, like, you know, their business endeavors and whatnot, you might have to reach 1,000, 10,000 people just to get like 100 solid customers. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
And that's one thing they don't really tell you about it. People have this idea that if you go online, that, you know, you'll go viral instantly, or, you know, it's going to happen like overnight. It can happen that way.
Well, you can go viral, but you're not going to have your clients.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying too, especially nowadays. Like now you got random teenagers with like over 2,000 followers.
Wow.
They obviously don't know 2,000 people.
Right.
It's just
Their
they
reach.
follow.
Right.
Like you're saying, you have to have a really, really huge number to be making the
Yeah, it's got to be like astronomical. You have to reach, you know, like if you reach 1 million people, you may get like 1,000, 10,000 people that are solid core fans. You know what I'm saying? So anybody out there, if you got to do a business, whatever money that you put, because you got to have capital. Whatever you're going to start, you need capital. If you spend $1,000 on erecting your business, you need to dollar for dollar do the same amount, $1,000 worth advertising, marketing. Trust me on that. Trust me on that.
What are you spending on marketing?
Marketing, it could be ads, it could be,
what dollar amount should they be putting aside? Like, hey, I'm gonna put this
dollar for dollar, whatever it is you put. Like if you want to start a restaurant or whatever it is, you spend all the money, you got all your equipment for your restaurant, you bought all the food, you have your menu together, everything's set up, everything is erected and ready to go. Whatever that amount you spent on putting your restaurant, if it was $100,000, dollar for dollar, another $100,000 in marketing.
Wow.
Get in it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth it. Whatever it is, get the best you possibly can.
So you're saying is just flip what you got.
Exactly. The same amount that you, if it's $5, I don't care how much it is, that same amount that you spent on putting it up.
I talked to a
setting
lot
it
of drug dealers.
Really?
That really is
For
trying
real?
to have some street credit on here.
Same
But
thing.
you hear the comment, just flip it.
Yeah, folks gotta know about it.
I mean, I know a lot of friends. Like they don't know just on Pokemon cards.
And like how you asked me earlier, like what's the hardest part? It's
Right.
the advertising, the marketing, getting my name out there. That is the hard. Putting the book together, because I had it's up here. It's nothing. The book itself, everything. You know, if as long as I got people to help me work on it or whatever, if I pay the money, whatever.
Okay,
If
I
you
get
have
what
the
you're
money
saying.
for it,
I get what you're
nothing.
saying because I feel like in every industry, every guest that we've had on, which have been different industries, I feel like they know their craft. They can't get down the business aspect.
Yeah.
I think that's what
part. Yeah.
exactly. So I understand that, but at the same time, it's like maybe the whole flipping doesn't work for every industry too.
Perhaps. I mean, if you have if I think most of the time it's either a product or a service that you're trying to offer. If you're starting your own business, either a product or a service.
Because at the end of the day, and I'm not going to cut you off, but at the end of the day, what the benefit for your industry is the fact that you don't have any overhead pricing.
Right. There's not a whole lot of overhead.
Yeah, like you don't need a store,
Right.
you don't need a studio.
Right,
This is all here.
Right. Yeah.
And it's all
everything's
media,
in
so it's different to where if you had a restaurant,
there.
because at one point, before we started doing this podcast,
Right.
a few years ago, we were thinking of opening up a bar.
Mm.
And when we were shopping around, we had to look for real estate. We had to look for contractors. We had to look for all of these different things that had nothing to do with the actual bar.
Wow.
So it takes, of course, that didn't happen. Like we found a lot of maybe roadblocks or setbacks. We kind of stepped back. He went on and opened up a photo booth business, and a few years later, this is what we're doing now together. But in your industry,
Right.
I feel like you can easily say just flip it,
Mm.
but I just feel like that doesn't necessarily work for any industry.
True. However, most people they got to know about what you got to offer.
True.
So the words got to get out. Whether it's word of mouth or whatever. Whatever you can. I'm telling you, like whatever you can spend. If it's got to be whatever that can drive traffic. If it's a website, whatever, customers on the street, flyers, whatever.
What's your favorite?
What
What's
is-
your favorite route when it comes to advertising?
Right now, most of our online presence, anybody that discovers us comes through Instagram. Instagram is very hot right now. It's like one of the biggest on social media.
It doesn't go down like Facebook does.
Yeah.
A couple days ago, Facebook went out.
Right. Yeah, Instagram is very big right now. If something tops Instagram, go for that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you can do to get eyeballs.
What I've always heard is like having multiple avenues, not just sticking to one.
Right.
So Instagram's your number one.
Right,
What's your
right.
number two?
Number two would be, I would probably say Facebook, because there's so many different types of people on Facebook. Facebook is so widely popular, so many people use it. Your grandma probably has a Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely go Facebook. Second, I should have did a lot more research on how to utilize Facebook. So I would go Facebook, I would go Instagram, Facebook, then Twitter, then possibly Snapchat even. A lot of people use Snapchat. I know a lot of businesses and stuff use Snapchat as well. Absolutely. As far as getting it, having some sort of online presence, some sort of social media presence.
I would have thought that Twitter was before Snapchat.
I would say Snapchat definitely at the bottom. Yeah, Snapchat in the third.
I have
Facebook
no
in the
idea
second.
with either Twitter or Snapchat. I'm not.
I think it's because
Personally,
Instagram, they adopted the whole story thing.
Yes.
Right.
That took away a lot from Snapchat.
Okay.
Because, Instagram and Facebook are the same company.
Right.
And it's engulfing everything else.
Yep.
And it's how you use it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And YouTube even, so a lot of people tell me, I should have a YouTube channel. It's a lot involved with, editing and,
Yes.
getting your video, make sure your video is high quality.
You think once we have the animated series, you'll definitely adopt the YouTube?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point with it. I want to have, right now we're working on an intro. It's just 2 minutes, 20 seconds, probably worth of animation. Have that on YouTube. It's just gonna be maybe for some sort of crowdfunding or like Kickstarter or Patreon or something where we're gonna have people try to fund to get a first pilot episode made. The pilot episode will then be put on YouTube.
For a cartoon series.
Right.
Okay.
Pilot episode will be put on YouTube. Hopefully it can reach, I'm thinking a decent number should be about 10 to 15 million views. If it has that, then hopefully. Yeah,
I'm excited with 5 views, man. Don't do this to me.
It's got to be a significant number.
That's crazy. That's
where,
impressive.
Exactly. It's got to be a significant number to where Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, whatever streaming service will probably hit us up, or even if it's the studio, AMC, Cartoon Network, FX, or whatever.
It's interesting that the first thing you said was Netflix, because I saw something recently that like Netflix is taking away from like your Disney, from
HBO,
all these big box office type companies.
Yep.
They're taking away from that.
Yeah.
Like there's a recent movie that just came out that was I started hearing Netflix advertising on the radio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dude, they have movies like Bird Box. They have movies like very like high 5-star celebrities.
It shows where everything's going.
It's not even box office anymore. It's just Netflix.
Right. Yeah. Like Will Smith was the first one to do it.
Right.
With
talking about Bright.
Right. Yeah.
Bright.
That's the one.
Yeah. That's it. That was on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some other ones. Man.
Yeah, if we get a Netflix original series, shoot, I'd be like,
even stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like Fluffy got one.
Kevin,
was it Kevin? I don't know if he won.
Yeah, but that's the goal. It's definitely put on YouTube first, because I know they're not, like, I could try to maybe, take a trip or whatever, create a pitch kit, go to Netflix. They might be like, we don't know, blah, 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 because you don't have that big of an audience right now. But if we get 15 million views on YouTube.
Have you seen that Comic-Con that's coming in on
July? Comicpalooza?
No. It's
in Houston?
Yeah.
Really?
It's in July.
Wow.
I know about it only because I met the president of it.
Wow.
His photo booth business does really good, man.
I'm gonna keep that.
I know. Like, I'm not even drunk yet. I think in Spanish first, all right, guys. I think in Spanish first.
Habla español, pero sí entiende.
Ay. Alright, I need to go to a restaurant after that.
Oh, Matsuri. Anime Matsuri. Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
That's
the left out.
That one anime convention that I told you about. They're gonna have, which I thought was crazy, but it tells what's gonna happen in the future. It's an artist that's AI. Like not even AI. It's their headliner is an artist who is a hologram.
Wow.
Oh, you mentioned that. It's not an actual person. Yeah.
There's a band. There's a live drummer. There's live guitarist, but the artist, the singer itself, the headliner, is a hologram.
Wow.
Yeah, it is from Japan.
Wow.
He showed me a video of it.
It's entertaining, and I'm like, man, that's something. It reminded me of.
They put a show on.
It reminded me of Gorillas. Remember Gorillas?
Yeah.
Back when we were in high school,
it
was all cartoon. Like you never really saw them.
Right, who they were.
But it's the same concept.
But they actually, because the band members are actually real, they have like
girls,
live.
Right?
This one is.
It's like all girls.
They have live performances.
Her name is IA.
Yeah.
That's her.
Wow.
They have live performances, and then just that graphic on the screen.
That's amazing.
But they have the drummer, the bassist, the guitar, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a sign of the times, though. It's really interesting.
How did you even get started with messing around with the beat, like you said?
Oh, I had always had Fruit Loops and stuff, just messed with it and whatever, and I just it was like on Fruit Loops it has like what's called like a randomizer. You can randomize some notes together, and then I heard something like my buddy had showed me how to turn on the randomizer. I was like, changed a few notes. I was like, oh shit. Added a few fucking instruments. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And then I was like, wait a minute, this would probably be dope for the cartoon. That was like, okay, it's official. It's gonna be for the cartoon, and like that was, it was just purely a random thing. Like it was just 100% random. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this for the cartoon. And then I expanded on it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and like now it's at a point where like, okay, I'm satisfied with it. You know, I want Zero on the hook. Like if it has rapping on it, it doesn't necessarily need anybody to rap on it or sing on the hook or whatever. I'm like, Zero would be perfect for this. Zero Slim Thug.
What's your artist? Is that your genre, like Slim Thug?
Yeah, rap. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Oh, that's another thing with the show. Like, there's gonna be a lot of music. The soundtrack is gonna be like amazing. Because I have to put, since we're Houston, I have to put all the classic Houston songs on there. Have to.
I'm a name drop right now, but
Yeah.
like one of the persons that I wanna interview later on is Eddie from Third Coast Customs.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, I work in automotive paint.
Right.
I'm really cool with Eddie from
Okay.
Third Coast. He painted all the candy paint stuff.
Uh-huh.
Zero, Slim Thug, all
Wow.
them.
Wow.
They went to him.
Wow.
Paul Wall rapped about him in one of his The People's Champ album.
We're gonna have him on here, guys. We will.
We still gotta ask.
I know, but
he'll do it.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
We're putting it out in the universe, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something or
That
maybe
might be
later on.
something.
You know.
Yeah, they could always, you know what I'm saying, if they're rappers or whatever, they can always be featured on the show, whether they want to be themselves or whether they want to be like if they don't have a whole lot going on, they can be like a recurring character if they can act well enough, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to put anybody on the show just because of their name. If they can act, they can deliver with that voice acting, they've been in the booth before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it should be like second nature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I can get them on the show, like, you know.
You see that all the time where rappers also adopt acting.
Right. You know, or even.
Well, Zero has his own cartoon.
Exactly. Yeah, he does.
Trey has his own cartoon.
Exactly. Even if they just want to be an executive producer, that's like a way they can probably get like a little check on the side. They're you know, because we're using their music and stuff, the label's gonna get a check. You know, we gotta give them residuals for using their music on the show.
Trey's the heart. Trey does so much in the community.
Exactly.
I feel like if you were to grab anyone,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just because my heart is like Trey has my not being able to go on radio, but still doing the work
Right.
and putting in work for the community. To me, that's you to do.
Right. Right.
Me personally.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's anybody that can deliver, you know, voice wise for the show. You know, boom, by all means, they can definitely, you know, come with it, and you know, we can make some. I just want to
reach out, guys.
If you want, let's grab a drink to be voice actors. You know.
He wasn't inviting you, fool.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, tell him no.
Yeah, on the show.
Don't say yes with me.
Shut up.
He's gonna take that and run with it, man.
No, the cool thing is on the show, since it's in the future and stuff, since it's in the future, we have what's called the virtual internet. Like, nobody really uses smartphones and stuff anymore. It's called the virtual internet. There's like a device that you put on. It's like a wearable, and what it does is it connects you virtual, like you're in basically like a virtual reality sort of like however you want it to be. So like, say for instance, if we wanted to Skype with one another, this would be like a Skype conversation. Like what all y'all had to drive over here and all this, it wouldn't even been necessary. It would feel just like this.
It sounds like something off of Black Mirror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was thinking Minority Report.
I love Black Mirror.
Hologram
I love Black Mirror so much. I'm like, man, they got so many of the futuristic concepts down. I don't give a damn.
They met in the middle, like they took real life technology and like
made it a little bit darker.
Yes.
Met it halfway with the future.
If my shit could be a spin-off from Black Mirror, I don't even care. Like, because I love Black Mirror because they got a lot of futuristic concepts so right. I'm like, oh,
when
man,
it comes
they
to
were like way ahead of me.
political, to the courts, yeah. I just saw the first season, and that was enough for me to say this is.
Like how that guy had uploaded himself into that video game.
Yeah.
That's how the virtual internet works.
I thought about the whole.
You see resonance of that even nowadays. Like whenever you start playing a video game now, you're engulfed in the story. Like it's your first person almost all the time. Touching base on that, so you talked about working at GameStop.
Oh yeah.
What do you play?
Oh man, I used to be a gamer, so like my thing was I would get games that were highly rated. I was like a sort of like a game snob. So if it didn't have like a high rating in like Game Informer, I had PS2, PlayStation 1. For some weird reason, I never really had a whole lot of Nintendo consoles. Like only Nintendo consoles I had was like the NES and like the Game Boy Pocket. I never had a Super Nintendo. Never had an N64.
It's an essential right there.
Yeah, you know, but I was like a gaming snob, so I always wanted to get the best stuff. And like, man, I had a
Fuck you,
legit.
Xbox.
I had a legit.
I mean, I feel that way, but I'm a Nintendo and PlayStation. I've always
So
had Nintendo.
You don't game anymore.
No, like when in 2009, when I got my PS3, I got Call of Duty. I got COD 4. That was it. COD everything, all the CODs. I got the hardened editions. I would get like season passes. I was like a first-person shooter, Call of Duty
I was cheap
fanatic.
as fuck. I just bought the game. I didn't buy the season pass.
Man.
I didn't do all that.
I never
Call
got
of
into
Duty?
shooting games.
Man, I did game battles.
He tried to get me into that. I couldn't do it.
I am big on Call of Duty.
I got away from Call of Duty, man. Sadly, like
Yeah, it fell down.
the last Call of Duty that I really truly enjoyed was probably Black Ops 3.
3? Okay.
Black
okay.
Ops 3. After that, I mean, I did Advanced Warfare. No,
Mhm.
no, I didn't like Advanced Warfare.
I didn't like it either.
Infinite Warfare. That's the one that I was okay with. And then a buddy of mine, the real Vortex One,
Mm-hmm.
he got me into Destiny 2.
That's pretty good?
It's good.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Okay.
I enjoy it a lot. That's what I currently play. I recently picked up Anthem.
Okay.
Anthem, which is
Right, right. I heard about it.
supposedly like the Destiny killer, but nah, it's not a
Mm.
Destiny killer. I enjoy it, but it's not Destiny killer.
I feel so left out in this conversation, guys. Like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, I fell out of
I'm
COD.
more of a racing and sports and
Okay.
fighting. Like,
I fell off of COD like right after Ghost because my girlfriend.
Ghost was good.
Yeah, I fell off of
Ghost
that.
1 and 2.
Yeah, they had a lot of good ideas on that game. I fell off of that when my girlfriend broke my PS3, so I was like, no,
What'd you do?
that bitch threw that shit on the wall, broke my
What'd you
PS3.
do?
And then I didn't play anything.
Yeah,
It
ignore
doesn't
my
matter.
question.
What the fuck?
No,
Why
it
the fuck
does.
would she
I mean,
I'm sorry, that fucking hurt me.
She
Okay.
was.
but what'd you do?
She was preggo and emotional.
She keeps
and all that
avoiding my
stuff,
question.
you
That's
know.
fine.
Yeah, honestly, I barely remember what the heck we
I don't give a fuck what he did, man.
Women.
God.
Women are gonna ask.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you do? And you don't have to respond. That's cool.
She was preggo, and like
That says it all, I
I
guess.
wasn't tripping about her being pregnant. I was just like, because she got a dollar store pregnancy test, and I'm like, okay, let me get a real pregnancy test from like Target or some shit like that. Let me just spend, like, she spent it from the dollar store. She
Okay.
literally spent $1 on it. I'm like, okay, it says you're pregnant, but that shit might be faulty as hell. So let me get like something that costs like maybe $15 or more, just so
Right.
you're actually pregnant.
Yeah.
I guess because I was nonchalant about it, we had like a little argument about something. She didn't want to go to her mom's house. The next day, she threw an iron at me. I had to hold her back. She put a lot of shit in my house.
Damn.
Yeah, she was bipolar. But
But it was
yeah.
good sex though.
Oh man. Oh.
You're gonna say it. You're gonna say it.
Oh.
I'm slightly bipolar. Let me tell you.
She was near
I just
perfect.
fucking with you.
I remember the
fucking
first
with
time I
you.
did
I'm
it
not
with her, I
bipolar.
was like, when she got naked, I was like, thank you. She got naked, she bent over, I was like, oh, yes, thank you, thank you.
She got pregnant right there.
Yeah, probably so. We did it a lot. We was doing it a lot. For a minute, we was doing it a lot. It was like,
Anger issues, man.
Yeah.
They're sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it.
yeah.
I'm very, like, the less drama in my life, the better. But I'll tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you got anger issues. So,
But yeah, for the record, I didn't care if
Real
she was
good.
pregnant. I didn't care if she was pregnant at all. Like, I didn't mind her having my kid. It was just, I had to see if it was a real thing. But, you know what I'm saying? We had fights and blah, blah, blah.
So the moment that you kind of like questioned it, she just grabbed your shit and threw it up against
We
the wall.
had argued about something else. I don't remember what it was. We kind of had like it was like a very
how
strange.
convenient, huh, ladies?
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
strange situation because we were like kind of dry arguing with each other. We didn't raise our voices or whatever. We were just kind of like throwing shots.
Passive
at each other.
aggressiveness.
Right, and the thing was she was supposed to go to her mother's house the next day. And I was supposed to take her there that morning. And the next day she was like, are you going to take me to mom's? I was like, fuck, no, after that long ass fucking fucked up ass conversation we had last night. No, I'm not fucking taking you back to
Uber,
mom.
shit.
Next thing I know, I'm brushing my teeth. Iron comes flying through the bathroom, hits the sink. I'm
That's
like,
a fucking deadly weapon right there.
yeah, I had to
Goddamn.
hold her down. She bit me on my shoulder. She hit me over the head with a pot. Cops had to be called.
God.
She like kicked my TV. She threw my PS3 on the wall. Like, it was horrible. Oh man, but boy was she fine. She was fine as fuck. She was super fine. She was amazing.
That's a fucking handy weapon right there. Like
Yeah.
I had a mirror thrown out the back of my head.
Damn.
But a fucking
I remember
iron?
listening to
Dude.
those stories.
Luckily she missed, but yeah, that was
No, this bitch didn't fucking miss.
yeah. Oh,
What the-
man. Yeah, but that was that. She didn't have.
I don't feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I
You
don't feel bad for
feel
you.
no sympathy?
I feel no like y'all knew. I think men know, but the thing is, and I'm outnumbered here, and this I know, but I got my viewers to back me up. My ladies, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
Yes, you do.
Right, we do.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
end of the
To an
day,
extent.
you feel like, excuse my French, the pussy's worth it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, looks are very important.
as a woman, I can't say that women feel, but on the other end, it's like you hear the jokes, but the D, or whatever.
Come secondary. Mm.
You deal with a lot of stuff. And I think it's part of relationships, part of marriage. Again, going back to, I know I'm not married, I don't have kids, but I have discussions or conversations with married couples, all the time because I'm surrounded by them.
Mm.
And I feel like I can relate and I can understand. And I also understand the struggles.
Mm.
Dealing with lack of communication, when it comes to cheating. I'm not saying it's a part of it or it has to be, but many times that's just something you deal with. Time. Some people's schedules are different. Money.
Right.
Man, that's a big deal. Like that's actually the number one reason for divorces nowadays. Money.
Right.
Well, it's always been actually.
Right.
I feel like when I talk about certain subjects, I always bring up cheating. And I'm not saying that cheating is essential to a relationship. It's just hard. It's hard because having someone that's either married or in a relationship or with kids, someone who does have none of that, I don't have a word or a say. But I'm surrounded enough by it to where I think I know what's up.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just difficult to talk about certain subjects without being biased.
Right. Absolutely.
So y'all are talking about females, crazy females.
Right.
And while I can understand, because we can be crazy.
Right.
But sometimes, I'm not saying it's all the time, we're driven to be crazy. And that's where you're saying no.
I'm shaking my head because it's not our fault that y'all fucking crazy.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's y'all's fault, but y'all knew the crazy was there before y'all fucked it.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's true.
Sometimes.
No, both of y'all. Body language and the way y'all are saying it. You have to be accountable for it. We need to get the 3 questions and
Right
a
now.
5-year plan. Yeah, before I fuck this shit up. And then also,
it's not gonna do you like that.
I'm paranoid.
I've heard stories.
Yeah, I was telling her the story too. Okay.
All right,
crazy.
So we got a tradition around here on Let's Grab a Drink. 3 questions.
3 questions.
First one is, what are we drinking today? What's your drink of choice?
Drink of choice is Crown and Coke. Coke.
Go
With a hint of
to.
Fireball.
With
With a hint
Fireball.
of Fireball.
this is the first time we're trying it. We got a little hint of Fireball,
I love
so.
I'm addicted. That's it.
Whew, yeah, I'm actually kind of scared, but
Next one is, what's your go-to meal? What's your favorite meal right now?
there we go.
Let's see.
You better say her,
Chicken and shrimp. Chicken and shrimp. A little bit of sauteed.
The pasta?
Yeah, chicken, shrimp, and sauteed vegetables over a, Chardonnay sauce.
Chardonnay.
Damn.
It's a Chardonnay.
Hold on. Let me pick. Hold on. See, I
Chardonnay lemon butter sauce.
There you go. That's my go-to meal.
Okay.
Very good. Very healthy. A little bit keto friendly. It's very delicious. Very delicious. I'm real big on cutting my carbs, being low carb as possible. So.
Okay.
Yep.
And the last one is,
Song of the moment.
what song describes you right now?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good
in
question.
this point in life?
Oh man.
Seeing that you've kind of dabbled in music producing, you're very Houston based.
But
you know.
right now, I know
This
you may
point in
want
your
to
life.
engulf in like your whole situation with the art and everything. But today, what song
defines
describes you right now?
Hardaway.
Hardaway.
Hardaway. Yeah. Hardaway by what's his name?
Yeah, I can already hear it.
Yeah.
So much feeling behind
I've
it.
heard it.
Yeah.
Hardaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can remember. But I feel like it's the end of the note.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've always had to do very, you know, manual labor, very hard jobs. A lot of jobs where I had to come home, I was sweating, I was dirty. Things could have, if the situations were a lot more in my favor, things could have been a lot more peachy. I could have had a lot more cushy opportunities and stuff that would have happened. But just for some reason, the way that things have been for me, it's just been, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of late nights, a lot of hard work, a lot of long shifts and stuff like that. That's just how it's been for me. I think I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a whole lot from it.
That's great.
I think it's built some character.
I think most artists come from that. I
Right.
mean, when you come from actors or artists, the first artist that comes to mind is G-Eazy. He even talks about it, like he was mopping around restaurants
Wow.
in his early days. And in one of his songs, he's like, I'm looking forward to a day where I don't have to mop the floor to make a living. And he's like, and look at me now, and it's like, I get that.
Yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about what people have to go through, or you look at things a little bit different when you have to work a very hard job or a long day's worth of work, where you come home feeling satisfied if you've helped someone, or if you've met somebody that's been through some things, or
you made an impact in someone's life.
When you know about the struggle, it's just you just deal with things a lot different.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess going from there, what's a 5-10 year plan for you? Because man, it's impressive everything you've done, from like personal, which going to military, to doing your passion,
Right.
to expanding it, to dabbling into other circuits of the industry,
Right.
going to music,
Right.
and it all and focusing in on your passion, which
Right.
is your comic.
Right.
Well, where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 15 years? What's your plan? What's your goal?
If everything were to happen perfectly,
Okay.
for example, we would go, because I'm really trying to fast track doing the animated series. Maybe do somewhere between like 3 to 5 seasons of the animated series.
Okay.
Look towards doing, maybe working with like films, doing a lot of concept art for films, maybe practical and special effects, sculpting, artwork. Moving towards, if I build a decent amount of income from that, taking that income, moving in towards real estate, investing in necessities, like wash interiors, corner stores, automotive body shop, things of that nature. Maybe getting another trade.
So you have a Jay-Z mentality.
Oh yeah. You got to have multiple streams of income.
So
Residual
you
income's
don't
where it's
really
at.
see the comic book growing, or that you see that as like a background, like
The-
it is gonna continue to grow, but on its own.
I kind of see the comic book and the cartoon show being somewhat of a legacy, something to leave behind, something that bam, like this is what he's known to do. But as
Your
far,
name,
right?
all you.
But as far as financial stability,
You're willing
future
to work
leading
for it.
on, I'm trying to have just like y'all. I don't know if y'all ever played Grand Theft Auto. That shit really planted the seed. Vice City. When you reach that point where like you have like little safe houses and then they give you that money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did the original GTA off the keyboard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over here with the scroll
What?
and the space bar and the A and the D. Like I did the original off of PC.
I remember that when you get them safe houses and then like it's the next day in the game and like you have like a couple of extra grand. I'm like, yo, let me do this shit in real life, bro. Like that's how I would live.
Collecting 5 stars,
you play,
get like the
GTA
whole city
5?
coming into
I
you.
haven't played 5. I never
No?
played 5. Never played 5
Dude,
before.
they've milked the shit out of that. It's been playing for like 2-3 years.
You know what I hope they do with the next Grand Theft Auto? Which would, to me, would be like awesome. I hope they take it. This is just how I would do it. If it was me, Grand Theft Auto, I would
Rockstar, y'all better.
I know, right?
I would take it back to Vice City, and I would just triple, quadruple down on content. I would have the same graphics from PS2, so it's
Right.
retro because it's back in the 80s.
Yeah,
So just
yeah.
say like we pick up right from where Tommy Vercetti left off, right?
Right.
So it'd be like maybe 87 because the other one was in 85. I would have it in 1987. I would just double down on content, be able to go to any building, you know, just like have like a ton of different like, you know, mini games.
It was a mini world.
You know, yeah,
I love
the
that,
freedom
that
of it.
Scarface type of feel that they had.
Right, that retro aspect,
Yeah.
like, you know, with it having PS2 graphics, it would bring that sort of nostalgia
I
factor
think it had
to it.
Vice City.
But like little to no load times, maybe a whole lot more cars and stuff being
This
able to be
fireball
loaded on
though,
screen.
on the crown. I just had the first sip because I've been nervous about it.
I'm the shit. That was
Dude.
so funny.
Are you with, man, can
But
I
yeah,
flirt
just-
with your girl though?
Just content, like, you know, be able maybe
We're gonna-
destructible
I'm gonna edit that out.
environments, all that crazy stuff. But
Can I
yeah,
flirt
like,
with you, Mr.
I forgot
Yeah.
about
Oh,
that game, man. It's
I'm very
funny
friendly.
you
We're
say
gonna
that.
have fun
Oh,
tonight.
I gotta bust up
I'm a
PS2.
friendly flirt,
Yeah.
like no
Vice
disrespect,
City
y'all.
was-
Okay,
was
babe.
like, wow.
You know that they busted
we
out
hear
the
it.
Okay,
Battlefield
okay, cool.
3 on tablets.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Wow.
You could download it on your tablet.
I guess we'll talk about
Or
it.
probably on your phone. Like you probably download it.
Damn.
It makes you think about like how far technology advances. Like PS2 technology fits on your phone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Like it's you're talking about when you were 18 and now you can fit it on your phone. It's-
Yeah. Yeah, these kids, they have no clue like what they got available to them these days.
That reminds me of my ex's niece. Like we were gonna show her. I don't know if it was like Finding Nemo or some older Disney movie, and we had to rewind it.
Wow.
We had to rewind
Oh,
it, and
no.
she was like, can we start the movie?
What are you
Like,
doing?
yeah, she was confused. I was like, hold on, this is part of the suspense. You gotta rewind the movie before you can watch it.
Wow.
She didn't know what it was.
Wow.
Because it's like nowadays, it's like you
Yes,
press play and it's
yeah.
right there.
Well,
Wow.
I think what's more mind blowing is the fact that they're so impatient nowadays, kids.
But
Like, no,
that's what's
no.
going toward.
But look,
It's
when
a
we
norm.
were growing up,
It's
any
a norm
movie, there's a commercial. You can go to the restroom. You can go fucking. I was cooking. I'll flip a tortilla, whatever. You can have a break. Nowadays, there's no such thing as commercials.
No.
You're watching a video. You get a 5-second ad. These kids are like,
Skip.
yeah, and to me it's like, dude, in our time, you had a fucking commercial. You could have gone to pee. You could have gone to like, go check your fucking mail.
Yeah.
You could have done anything. And nowadays, these kids are like, there's an ad. Like,
They don't
even
get it.
flip it.
They don't get it.
I'm like, you're missing out on a whole lot of shit, man.
I was telling my mom the last good trailer that I saw for a movie was Rush Hour. I remember we were at the dollar movie and we were watching. I forgot what the hell.
That's going on.
I don't even remember what movie we were gonna go watch, but Rush Hour came on the trailer. I was like, whoa, cause Chris Tucker had just came out, and I remember I had just seen Jackie Chan on like Rumble in the Bronx. They put Rumble in the Bronx on like a commercial. Like the last martial arts star that I knew was like Bruce Lee. Nobody, I didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
You gotta be
Jackie
talking about
Chan.
like 2002, 2001.
Oh,
This I want to say
was
it was
like-
before 2000.
This was like
Rush Hour?
95,
Yeah.
96. I want to say it was 1996.
Because Rush Hour
You're talking about
2.
the first one.
No, yeah.
First
Rush
one.
Hour
Oh,
2
shit,
was
okay.
98.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want
When
to say
that-
Rush Hour 2 was 98.
I was at the Dollar Theater. Rush Hour came on, like, cause you could, there was no YouTube. You didn't know what the fuck was coming out or whatever. That trailer came
You
on. I
had
was
to
like,
go to the movies to get a trailer.
whoa, because
Yeah.
it was like the martial
Yeah.
arts from Jackie Chan. Then you had the comedy from Chris Tucker. I was like, what? You know, Friday had already came out. I was
You're
like,
right
whoa!
about that.
I was blown away. I was like, well, I gotta see this. That was the last trailer. I can remember I was like stoked. I was like, I gotta see this movie.
Yeah.
You know, but now, you know what I'm saying? You can watch an in-depth review. You can watch a breakdown of the trailer. You can watch
You can watch 5 different trailers.
5 different types of trailers, new trailers, snippets,
Yes.
and analyze. People can analyze the trailer for you, tell you what's coming out. They can give you speculation on what the movie's gonna be about. You can watch spoilers, all that
The
stuff.
worst part for me is when you watch a trailer and then when you watch the movie and you realize the trailers were the best part of the movie.
Yup.
That's the
That's a
more,
big
yeah.
that's a big letdown.
Yeah, big time.
Which is why I'm very anti mainstream.
Mm.
Like to this day, I have not seen Lord of the Rings, any of them. I know. And it's not okay. This is my experience when it comes to mainstream. Okay, I want to say 10, 15 years ago, It was the whole, what's that movie with Bruce Willis? I see white people, I see dead people.
Oh,
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, okay. At the same time the Sixth Sense came out, Stir of Echoes came out with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, I never seen
Okay,
that one.
okay, oh my God, okay. I saw Stir of Echoes, Kevin Bacon. Oh, I was.
Is it good?
It's so good. It's so
Really?
good. Okay. The big hype was the Sixth Sense. Like it was actually it overshadowed
Right.
Stir of Echoes. When I finally saw Sixth Sense,
When you
I
did
guess
it?
because of all the hype of everything. After I finished it, I'm like, I would have rather watched Stir of Echoes 20 times
Really?
more than Sixth
Oh,
Sense.
wow, that is-
And it was. I don't knock it. I love the Sixth Sense. But because of the hype,
Right.
I felt like I didn't love it. And I blamed the hype compared to Stir of Echoes, who had no hype, no big preview, no box office thing. It was such a great movie. To this day, Stir of Echoes, I can watch it over and over again.
Really?
From the soundtrack, even the soundtrack.
What?
Dude, oh my gosh. Kevin Bacon,
He's good.
it's an awesome movie.
I gotta check it out then. 'Cause
You do.
I'm big. I'm a huge movie buff. I love films.
I do too.
Like that's what it is. Like
I just,
the way I collect my movies is how I used to like collect my video games and stuff. I was like, it's got to be like either Academy nominated or it's got to have like really good reviews or like a cult classic or something
Yes.
like that. Like my movie collection is legit.
okay.
You know, so I gotta like I'm gonna definitely check it out, see what it's all
Stir
about.
of Echoes, man. It's a great movie. And I don't knock Lord of the Rings. I don't knock, I mean, even when it comes to shows, I remember watching, what's that Bryan Cranston show?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. I
Yes.
couldn't watch it while it was hyped. I had to wait till it was
Me too.
over and then when it was over, I'm like, okay, now I get it. It was good.
That was a good show.
But
Yeah,
would I
good.
follow the hype? No, because I know I would be disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wait till the hype is over and then I watch it.
You make your own decision.
Same thing with Stranger Things. I saw your poster and I'm like,
Better Call
I
Saul? Have you seen it?
Better Call Saul. I haven't seen. I've seen a
I
few
haven't yet to
episodes.
see it, but I've heard that it's just as good.
yes.
Really?
I hear it's a continuation,
I
but
watched like
different
maybe
story.
episode 1, episode 2. I didn't get into it because it's like that's a thing. Like when you binge watch, you gotta get into it. Like
Yes.
you know what I mean. You gotta be ready for it.
It was easy to jump into what's one you just said the one?
Breaking
Stranger
Bad?
Things?
Breaking Bad.
Uh-huh.
Breaking Bad, like from episode 1, you're into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
that pilot
right
episode
there.
was killer.
Yes, yes.
You know what I wish they would have did? I wish that Breaking Bad wasn't Breaking Bad. That was the Grand Theft Auto 5. If that would have been Grand Theft Auto 5, I would have been like, damn, because it was so perfect for Grand Theft Auto because
Yeah.
it would just flip the whole game on its head.
Yeah.
It would just been something completely.
Because that's really how it started. He was just a regular old guy.
Exactly.
And when you're playing the game, you're a regular guy who just happens to come upon different
You
situations.
could have been in Mexico. You
people,
could have been
yeah.
dealing with Jesse. You could have played as Jesse. That would have been like that would have been
Yeah.
for Grand Theft Auto. It would have been
Yeah.
like a classic. It would have been like because nobody would have expected that.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
You know
So
what?
this is gonna wrap up. This interview here, and it was awesome.
I knew No E was gonna love him. I knew it. I told him. So you're gonna love him. And yes,
Yeah,
it was a hit.
Winston's been awesome. The fact that went to Reagan, which it's
There's so much
high school.
testosterone in this room.
High school now?
OMG. I need more women.
Oh,
Yes, I
Reagan.
did.
They got
Yeah.
I need more
Where'd you
women
go,
guests,
Reagan?
God. Ladies, come on, hit me up. I need more women guests on here because there was just way too much testosterone. Not that I mind it, don't get me wrong, but come on, ladies, come on, hit me up.
Comment and subscribe. Go ahead and like the video or dislike if you want, whatever. But no, this is awesome.
Yes, it was.
Definitely excited to see what's gonna happen. Of course, we want to. You know what? I'll go ahead and say it right now. We want to have a follow-up interview
Okay.
when you got the animated series.
Ooh, it's gonna
So
be
much
nasty.
pressure.
It's gonna be nasty.
But see, that's the thing where he's gonna have to make
It's
time
gonna
for
come
us,
easy to
'cause
him,
that-
yeah. He's gonna come easy to
Make
him.
sure and remember us whenever you're.
I know, right? And remember our poor people.
So,
No, that's actually happened to me before. A chick, she I saw it before my eyes. If y'all go on my Instagram, her name is the Samurai. She actually cosplayed as one of the characters. She cosplayed as Star.
Okay.
She went to a convention in London dressed as Star. That was the craziest thing. I was like, if I never make any success off of this, I did what I was supposed to do.
Okay.
Was remember I told y'all about the anime convention. Nobody was dressing up as characters that looked like them.
Right.
And she went at an anime convention in London dressed as one of my characters.
And looked like her.
I did it. That's part of the goal right there. So you know what I'm saying?